Welcome to the Carolina Nexus podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you all are ready for a very, very entertaining show. I'm here to chat, discuss, deep dive, go into a lore driven thing. But before we dive right in, let me thank my sponsors, W.GG. Use the Carolina Nexus code, Caro Nexus, for 10% off your order. Before I go any further, this show is just random. It's not planned. I have no idea what's going to go on, who's going to come on, who's going to talk with me. We're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here. We're going to be doing this thing right. We're going to discuss the Carolina Nexus books. We're going to discuss some characters. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. Our last episode was very successful with Scott Larson, the producer of the show, on. He asked a bunch of hard-hitting questions. I loved answering them, and I would love to answer questions for you guys again today. Sorry, I got distracted. Would love to answer questions from you guys today. If you guys come on here, and what's going on, Dylan James? Welcome to the Carolina Nexus podcast. So I use this platform to talk about how my creative writing process happens when I start writing one of my books, and I try to give as much detail as I can into the characters, what motivates them. Some characters will have special guests come on that are based off, those characters are based off of, and I will compare and contrast. It helps if you've read the books. If you haven't, at the bottom of the screen, there's where you can locate my books, and we can do the things that we need to do down there to get you a copy, to get them signed, whatever we need to do. Just go to Amazon.com. In the search bar, type in Charles Cloninger, and all books written by me will show up. There are 7 in total, 6 physical books, 1 digital. The digital book, it was supposed to be another series I was going to start writing, and it flopped on Kindle. So I was never greenlit to produce the second one. I have it written. It just hasn't been released yet. But the other 6 books, those are the books that this show is based off of, and those books are what we're going to move forward with the discussions on. But before we dive into all that, let's go back to my sponsors and affiliates. Sponsor number 1, W.GG website, W.GG. Order you your very own can of W Energy, gentlemen. It's amazing. It energizes you without the crash of a conventional energy drink. The flavors are amazing. I'm still working on this Calio cream. It's like a mango orange cream. To me personally, it tastes like the Flintstones push pops from the 90s, the push-ups. My wife says it tastes more like mangoes. Who am I to judge? To each their own. My next flavor that I'm ordering from them will be it's cherry flavor. I forget their exact name for it, but that's going to be the flavor I order when I finish with this little tub. I'm excited for it. Bliss Day Salon and Spa in Cleveland County, North Carolina, serving the Cleveland County area with all your self-care needs. Stop by, ask Susan and her team to hook you guys up, make you look your best for whatever event you have coming up in your life, whether it be a hot date on Friday or just going to your grandmother's house for family dinner. Susan and her team can hook you up, relieve all your stress. They have so many things they offer. It's not even funny. I can't even go into details of what they offer at the salon and spa. Stop by there, check them out. Look them up on Facebook. Suki will take care of you, I promise. The Carolina Nexus books. These are the 6 books, ladies and gentlemen, that the Carolina Nexus podcast is based off of in chronological order, from left to right. Tygapagon, Hometown Justice, Homecoming, Hometown Justice Rebellion, Hometown Justice Aftermath is the red book. And then the spinoff, the Casey Elkins investigations, the Idol, and the Daywalker. We haven't really touched a lot on the Idol or the Daywalker, and that's because I'm waiting for certain things to fall into place for that. We will eventually talk about those books. I'm trying to go not chronological. I'm trying to go in release order, talking about the books. So right now we've been focusing on Hometown Justice Homecoming, which, by the way, as of yesterday, has this very sleek new front cover by Scott Larson. I think it's amazing. The background image looks just like the Pokeville High School that was there before they tore it down. It encapsulates everything, and the star on the map, Scott made this clear during our podcast last night. The star on the map is not Raleigh, North Carolina. That is about where Pokeville is on the map of North Carolina. The attention to detail is phenomenal, and I'm so proud to have Scott on my team. I'm gonna commission him to do the book covers for book 2 and 3. See what we can come up with. But moving on. Gamers Dream Haven, online retro gaming store ran by my boy Trey Smith and his wife Melissa. These two are some phenomenal human beings. If you are looking for a retro video game for any system, and I'm talking Atari 2600, all the way to the Sega Saturn, to Nintendo 64, if you are seeking any games for any of these systems to complete your collection or to even start your collection, hit up Gamers Dream Haven. Trey and Melissa, they will do their best to either find the game for you or present it to you at a presentable price that you can afford. I've known Trey since 2003. We're gaming friends. We dabbled in backyard wrestling. We've dabbled in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. We've been all over rapping. We've done it all. And we're not afraid to act a fool. We're just two bros that want each other to succeed. And that's why when I started the Carolina Nexus podcast, I told Trey I was going to put his stuff on my screen and support his business. This is what we're doing. Cynthia's Clean Team. Cynthia, also a friend of mine since 2003. I met her through her brother AJ and Tyler. Those two are some crazy sons of guns. But Cynthia is one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And her Clean Team will come to your house and help you finish your projects up at an affordable price. She will do an amazing job. I trust Cynthia with my life. There's not a lot that I wouldn't trust Cynthia to do. So yes, guys, call Cynthia. I'll put her number on the screen one more time. Give her a call. Let her team come and help you out. Make her successful. That's what this whole thing is about. I want to be successful. I'm getting the news out to the world, and I'm also supporting my friends in their endeavors. Lady Hawks youth softball team. Ashley Gann, one of the coaches. She's a classmate of mine from Blacksburg High School. She started doing this as a project, and it's taken off on its own, and I support it 110%. Where we live in Cherokee County, South Carolina, there isn't a whole lot for the youth to do, and Ashley was trying to give the youth something to do to keep them out of trouble. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to support them. The entire team this year, they're focused with the intensity of the Hawk for that championship, and I believe with our support, they can get there. Eye Catching Customs, Cody Bowen on Snapchat, Facebook, and TikTok. This young man, he can make your very custom merchandise from any show in existence. It may take him a minute to figure out how to do it, but he will make it happen. I want you guys to hit him up. We worked together at Lowe's last year, and no, it was year before last. But Cody was selling a Walking Dead Daryl Dixon vest that he made, and it was made for him. He's smaller than I am. I'm a big guy. I'm not going to front. I'm a big guy, and Cody sold me this vest. My wife loved it. Welcome aboard, Daniel Jer. I don't have a Discord yet. I'll work on it. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in on Twitch. So yeah, the Carolina Nexus podcast, guys. We're on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm steadily expanding where I stream to. But back to Cody Bowen. Cody made this Daryl Dixon vest from The Walking Dead. He made it for himself. It was small. He wanted to clear up some space in his closet. and we talked out a price. I bought it from him thinking it would fit me. I'm a blonde. It didn't fit me, but my wife loved it. She has it in her closet, and it fits her perfectly. So it's amazing craftsmanship. I would not send you to Cody if I did not believe in him. And he's don't let the mullet fool you. Cody is an intelligent young man, and he's always finding innovative ways to do things. So hit Cody up. Eye Catching Customs on TikTok. CB Ranch on TikTok. Cody Bowens on Facebook. Hit him up. Talk to him. Get some prices. Collaborate with him. You will not be disappointed in the merchandise. Eden Jameson. Let me try that again. Eden Jamerson with Garden of Eden Photography. Again, a very, very good photographer. She's known for being unorthodox. She will pose behind that camera more than you will in front of it to make sure you have the right lighting, the right angle. When she shot my wife's maternity photos a couple months before Tyson was born, she did an amazing job. Big T in the house. Thanks for joining us, Big T. Welcome to the Carolina Nexus podcast. I think this might be the first time I've seen you in the chat. Thanks for joining. I'm going through my associates and my affiliates right now. Give me a minute, and we're going to start talking about my books. If you got time to hang around, Big T. But Garden of Eden, Eden will do an amazing job with the photography. She poses more behind the camera than you do in front of it to make sure you have the right angle, the right lighting, perfect pictures. And one day, very soon, I'm going to try to convince my wife to let me show her maternity pictures on here because Eden did a fantastic job. Those were amazing pictures. So as soon as I'm able to share them with the podcast, I will share them. And then, of course, we have Style and Jane's Boutique, Style and Jane's VIP 2.0 on Facebook. That is my sister Brenda Cloninger's custom merchandise shop. I'm not trying to create any friction between her and Cody, but they do vastly different projects as far as custom merchandise go. My sister does decals and cups and shirts and engravings, and Cody does leather work and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about there being a competition. Both are affordable. Both are great craftsmanship. Both take time and pride in their stuff. Go check either one of them out. Coming out of Gaffney, South Carolina, we have Spencer & Co. Book Company. They were the very first company to allow me to do a book signing event in a bookstore. Bliss Day Salon and Spa offered it to me, and when they were at Peace Salon and Spa at their first location, and things fell through with Amazon, which sort of similar happened to me at Spencer & Co. But Spencer & Co. was a phenomenal host. They gave us a corner, plenty of room to move about. We wasn't confined to an area. And when we didn't have customers at our booth, we were able to walk through and look at their merchandise. Fantastic. My wife tried their coffee and one of their Cinnabons. It was amazing. All around good people. I love Spencer Co. Go check them out in Gaffney. You won't be disappointed there either. I say that a lot for all of my affiliates, but it's because they've never disappointed me. So I'm going to be truthful with you guys. If they don't disappoint me, I'm going to be truthful and honest with you. If they ever disappoint me, I'll be truthful and honest with you. So far, none of my affiliates at all have disappointed me. Which brings me to this conclusion. Jerry Para, a local author, he wrote this Elaine Project book, Elaine Project, Trauma and Tribulation. And I think Jerry does a bang-up job encapsulating what his characters went through, facing the trials, tribulations, and trauma they went through in the story. I'm not going to touch on the plot details. Maybe Jerry will come on the show and we'll discuss the book in detail, and he can give you snippets of the book, but it's really amazing. I think it needs to be a TV show, because as I was reading it, I was visualizing a TV show in my head. It is that time of year again, ladies and gentlemen, for you to do your taxes. And if you're struggling or you don't like crunching numbers, this man right here, Chinez Middlebrooks at Diverse Tax Solution, This man will help you in any way he can to make tax season a little less stressful. And if you're like me and you stress eat, you're going to get hungry. So while you're hungry and you're at Diverse Tax Solutions doing your taxes, ask about Little Daddy's Barbecue and Mo. Soul food does not even begin to describe this food. This food is so amazing. It would make Gordon Ramsay himself slap his mama. That the food is delicious. They catered for the Christmas party at my job. It was amazing. Nobody had any complaints about the food. I'll never complain about the food. I'm a fat kid at heart. I will eat until like there's no tomorrow. And if I was a rich person, I would hire him to cook for me in my house on a regular basis. That's just how I feel about the situation. If you go to the wrestling shows in the Carolinas and you see the American Diesel dump truck, hit up his merch table and talk to him about this diesel honey. I've got mine ordered, and as soon as it comes in, we're going to do a taste testing live on the Carolina Nexus podcast. $5 a jar. Dump Truck was a guest on our show two episodes ago, and it was a fantastic episode. We got a lot of information about Dump Truck as far as what motivates him to be a most definitely Big T. I'll get with you after the show. We'll book this up because Cowboy Bob and I've already talked about this. So yeah, we'll make plans. I'll message you after the show. But we got a lot of information about Dump Truck and his artistic side, which was something I found unique about Dump Truck, and I made that the focal point of my show. It was amazing. This is one of the shows you can catch the American Diesel Dump Truck at. February 21st, the historic Shelby City Park in Shelby, North Carolina. TCW presents Valentine's Vengeance. TCW Top Championship Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to put on some of the best wrestling to appear in Flair country since Ric Flair himself. And yes, Cleveland County, North Carolina is definitely the heart of Flair country that isn't Charlotte. So we hope to see you guys there to enjoy some high octane, high impact, diverse wrestling in the Carolinas. No problem, Big T. Like I said, stick around after the show. I'll talk to you about it. And then this is what show I'm interested in the most. Gemstone Championship Wrestling, an all-female promotion, presents Icebreaker, April 18th. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be one for the history books. I'm all about the women's revolution of wrestling. And this poster says it all. Gemstone Championship Wrestling is going to come in and do great things here in the Carolinas. I can't wait for you guys to experience this with me. I'm going to do my best to be there in person, and I may even take the Carolina Nexus podcast on the road and do an in-person live show there at the venue if Gemstone's owner, operator, booker will let me do that. And then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you're into podcasts like this one, go over to TikTok, check out the hashtag I'm Gonna Say It podcast with Greg Roper, Mr. Breaking News, G Smooth. We'll give you the hard-hitting details, and I'm going to go ahead and put it out there like this. Politically, G Smooth and I have different opinions. We do not let that define our friendship. So he's probably going to say some stuff on his podcast that you are not personally going to like. But it's a great podcast. Check it out. Right now he's covering Diddy and the Diddy trials. Not really my cup of tea. I don't care what happens to Diddy. They got him behind bars is where he needs to be at. Greg Roper's talking about it more in depth. He's going over the Epstein files. Go check him out. Greg Roper, hashtag I'm going to say it, over on TikTok. This one's the one you're not going to be disappointed in the most because it's entertaining as well as serious. And it takes a very, very big talent to be able to be entertaining but serious. And Greg Roper does it. And then, of course, last but not least, hashtag Truth, the sister show, the one that inspired it all. Ladies and gentlemen, when Scott Larson gets behind the microphone, you will not be able to turn the channel. You'll not be able to turn it off because Scott Larson gives you something to invest in. That's why he came on the show yesterday, to give everybody something to invest in. He asked those hard-hitting questions that made me think before I answered them. I appreciate that. Scott Larson, if you're watching, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a guest on the Carolina Nexus podcast. Give me just a second, guys. I'm answering some emails really quick. All right, guys. So today, since I have no plans, I'm going to open up the comment section for questions. If you have any questions concerning my books or what's going on with the e-feds I'm a part of, ask them here. We'll make it happen. So comment section is opened up. Welcome aboard, everyone that is just now tuning in. 23 minutes in, I've gone through all of my affiliates, and now I'm here to discuss. I'm here to talk. Miss Baloo, how you doing? I saw you share the thing on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. You were a massive part of our show yesterday with Scott Larson. You asked some serious questions. You interacted. Thank you for that. Much love from the bottom of my heart. So, I think the second episode of the show, I delved into why I started writing the series. I'm going to dive into it a little bit more, go into more of the details of the show as far as what's going on. But give me a second. I'm going to put a brief hiatus up. I've got to go check some stuff because I'm having some feedback here that I'm not liking. Give me just a Okay, let's try this again. No feedback. Good. We're ready to roll. So, last time I talked about this stuff, I talked about the writing process and how the story developed. I'm going to talk about something that I haven't really touched on, and that's one of my Easter eggs. And one of my Easter eggs, again, I took some creative liberties. How do I want to do this? Big T, are you still watching? If you are, this is a question for you. Big T. Mic check 1, 2. Are you still here? Okay, so my viewers watching, the question I'm going to ask that was going to be Amy's apparently no longer here. I'm going to give you a list of 6 animals, and you tell me what those 6 animals have in common. The falcon, the wolf, the ape, the bear, the crane, and the ape. What do those 6 animals have in common? That's the question that I'm asking the show. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. Hopefully I will. We're not going to do it as a ticker. Hold on. So this is a question I'm asking everybody. What do a falcon, an ape, a wolf, a crane, a bear, and a frog have in common? Answer it in the chat. I'll bring your answer on screen, see how many people have it right. This is a very important question concerning my books. Go ahead, use your Google. I'll wait. Give you guys time to answer. Anybody at all? Well, Miss Baloo, you're not wrong. They do all have legs, but that's not what I'm getting at. For a lot of my 90s kids, You're gonna want to you'll have the answer when if you don't have the answer when I tell you the answer, you're gonna face palm so hard, so very hard. Let me give you another hint. What they have in common has to do with something that happened in 1995. And yes, for the viewers at home, I'm being very vague about these hints because I don't want to give it away. If I give too much away, you're going to know what it is. But I don't want you to think about this. One more time. What do a falcon, an ape, a wolf, a crane, a bear, and a frog have in common? And it took place in 1995. Miss Baloo, if you can get a hold of that nerd son of yours, he might be able to tell you the answer. I doubt he will, but he might be able to. My wife's not on here, or Caitlin's not on here. They'd be able to tell you. My wife might not. Let me add that in there. She might not get the reference. Speaking of which, let me find out why this mug ain't on here. Still no takers? Hang on, y'all. Hang on. That ain't what I wanted. Two viewers that I have. Do you guys know the answer to this question? See if I can get it to do this right. I have one more suggestion to possibly save and answer this. Give me just a moment. Phone's been dry all day, and start doing your podcast, it starts blowing up. Miss Blue, I'm sorry. I'm gonna give a few more people some time to come on here and check it out, check out the question, see if anybody knows the answer. If not, in the next 3 minutes, I will give the answer, and you're all gonna be like, I should have thought of that. But again, I say this. Phone's been dry all day at work. Start doing my podcast and it blows up. My wife's finally tuning in. So, Amber, at the bottom of the screen, there's a question for you to answer. Do you know the answer to said question? You see, guys, you thought this wasn't going to be an interactive show. Smart ass. Of course, they're all animals, but there's something they have in common that happened in 1995. My wife is a smart ass, guys. I'm just going to put that out there for anybody that didn't already know. Miss Baloo says they all have legs, Amber. To answer this question, our dog would have introduced you to this. This is what I'm getting at. See if you can get that. There's you a vague line. I'm having fun with this one today. So one more time, I'll push it on the screen and see if anybody can get answer, or before Amber brain kicks in, she blurts out the answer. Trying to bring in some more people, so give me just a second. Bear with me. What question? You didn't type a question. What? Now I know you're crazy. Jack Morgan, how you doing, buddy? Jack, I got a question that I'm posted up here. I'm trying to see if anybody on my friends list from the '90s, and Jack, you're about the same age as me. Maybe you can answer this question for my viewers. Tell me Jack Morgan is smarter than he looks and knows the answer to this question. Again, what falcon, an ape, a wolf, a crane, a bear, and a frog have in common that took place in 1995? I'm going to edit the question to add that. Hang on. And this will tie back into what I was talking about with my books. So just bear with me, guys. Amber got it, ladies and gentlemen. She's googling it over there, but that's the correct answer. So when I was writing Hometown Justice and I was developing the martial arts style of Jeet Kune Do, the foundation of it is Miyagi Do from the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. I wanted to make it my own, so I introduced the different styles of martial arts that could be learned in the branches of the martial arts, and I didn't. There was no building blocks for me to work with, so I had to become creative. And my daughter Caitlin, and my son Justin, myself, and Paisley were all interested in Power Rangers. Caitlin was watching Power Rangers at the house when I first mentioned Jeet Kune Do in Hometown Justice Homecoming. At the time, it didn't have a name, though. The name came in book 3. But different time, different story for another time. And I'm trying to figure out how to do these styles. So I created I used the Ninjetti styles, the Ninja Zords, as the styles of the martial arts. And then I realized I fucked up, and Alex is the master of the Tiger style. That was in the beginning before I even knew it was going to be a martial arts system. So I created the Tiger style on a whim. So there's the 6 Rangers styles, the Tiger style, and the Dragon style that I invented just for this show. 8 styles. Now there's some minor styles like a minor character named Eric uses a spider style in chapter 1, and I'll delve into those styles as the story progresses. We all know this, Amber. We all know this, but the central styles that I'm focusing on are Tiger, Dragon, and 8. Tigapagon, which is an amalgamation of Tiger, Dragon, and 8. It becomes a symbol of a brotherhood. A Trikyo fist, which is another technique named in my book. I'm going to be heavily focusing on developing those styles and creating new techniques. For 11 years, Alex was in the military. Yes, Jack Morgan Power Rangers it is. And so he didn't get to elevate his game. Ty and Ken elevated their games. They've created new techniques. In Tigapagon, the prequel, they all know the basic techniques. in Hometown Justice Homecoming. You see Alex has developed his basic technique, and that's the only one he's developed. He's got a few minor techniques he uses, and those will where he learned those will be explored. But as far as actual attacking techniques and damage dealing techniques, um, they will be explored through the plot, and we're going to see Alex grow now because while he was training with the Marines, it stated several times in the books he couldn't train his Rai. Um, he couldn't train properly his martial arts. He had to do what the Marines wanted him to do. So we're going to see him now focus on his martial arts training and expand and grow stronger there because he's done with the military. He was discharged after what happens in the prologue. Sorry, I had to answer a text message. Anyways, so when developing the martial arts style, I used Power Rangers as a building block, and I built off of it. So developing Jane Kwang Do using the Power Rangers Ninjetti animals as styles really gave me more creativity for the fight scenes. And my wife will be the first to tell you I'm heavily influenced by what's going on around me when I'm writing certain scenes. Certain scenes you can see I'm listening in the background to NCIS. Certain scenes you can tell I'm on Cobra Kai. Certain scenes you can tell I'm watching Dragon Ball because it influences the type of fighting dynamics or the type of investigation dynamics or what have you in the book as I'm writing. Uh, and like I said with Scott Larson yesterday, I tried to balance the show or the book. I tried to balance it to be 100% level with equal parts slice of life moments that explain why the action's happening and action moments. Jack Morgan, are you still in here? Because I'm about to call an audible. You'll make this entertaining, and you've got that journalistic instinct. I'm about to make this entertaining, Jack. See if we can get Redneck Joe Hendry to show up in here. I bet he won't. But if he does, and yes, I called him Red. If you don't like it, bite me. To all you guys tuning in, thanks for joining us here at the Carolina Nexus podcast. We've been discussing my books and some of my writing and thought process, what inspired the Jane Kwang Do martial arts style in my story. Stick around after the show when it posts live. It will be available for you to rewatch through Facebook or YouTube or Twitch. Yes, Amber, we believe in Joe Hendry. For those of you not know, Joe Hendry is a WWE superstar. He's on the NXT brand, and he's the current NXT heavyweight champion for the Black and Gold brand. Let's see. Vinny Ryman in the building. This is my little brother. I had him on the show once before, talking about the character of Vince Raymond, who is based on him. Vinny, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. If you have questions about the books, post them in the comment section. You just missed the big 1995 question that you should have been able to answer because you were part of that era and you grew up with me, so you should have knew the answer to that. But that's beside the point. I figured you were driving and couldn't tune in, so I'm not gonna hold it against you because you're a truck driver. But if you have questions, Vinny, post them in the comment section. I'll bring them on the screen. I'll answer them. You know how this works. It's like hashtag truth, except this is Carolina Nexus, and we talk about my books here 9 times out of 10. Vinny, did you catch the show yesterday? That is the question. Did you catch the show yesterday? Because if you didn't, I feel like you missed a bunch of good questions that Scott asked. Vinny, Amber, thanks for tuning in again. Miss Blue, that is a very good question. How do I decide when to remove a character from a story? And I'm not saying this is for all authors. For me personally, it depends on the character's utility, how important they are to the plot, how important they are to the other characters. don't want to give spoilers, so I can't use a character from my book to answer this question. Uh, okay, so this is how I'm gonna do it. The second episode of this show was about Bobby DeRisi, and I said Bobby DeRisi was a minor antagonist working for Tommy Leon's. He makes it through the first book, and he makes it partway through the second book. No, he makes it all the way through the second book, partway through the third book, and at that point in time, there was no this. To me, it felt like I was overcrowded with minor villains. I had to get rid of some, so I made the decision to excommunicate Bobby DeRisi. Can Bobby DeRisi come back to the series? No, he cannot, because of what happened to him, how he exited the series. He cannot come back. There will be villains that leave and they come back for a redemption arc. There will be villains that leave and they come back to try to obtain redemption, and it doesn't work out. The character of Vince Raymond, his story sort of parallels the real life friendship between me and Vinny. Vinny started out as in my mind in 2000, 1998, 2000 to 2000. Vinny was the villain of my story. Then we slowly became best friends. He's a brother. I would the only one of those things on Facebook that I would give Vinny up for would be the one where it says slap your brother for $1,000,000. I'll slap him 2 or 3 times for $1,000,000. That is beside the point. But he and I don't get to see each other a lot. We talk whenever we can. He's still my best friend from childhood. He spent more time at my house than he did at his own, and that's why I call him my brother. I love him to death. So if you mirror Vinny's story, Vince Raymond's story, to Vinny Ryman and mine's real life friendship, there's going to be a redemption for Vince Raymond. He's going to have to earn it very, very hard. It's going to be a trial and tribulation. But for characters like Bobby DeRisi that become too insignificant to the story, I take them out. There's going to be characters that I take out because the plot calls for it. Like I need a reason to move the plot forward. Now, I'm not going to be George R.R. Martin and just kill characters for the sake of killing characters or for shock value. I'm not going to be Greg Nicotero and the writers of The Walking Dead and kill fan favorite characters just to kill them for shock value. I don't believe in doing that. I don't like when authors do that. But I'm also not going to be the type of person or type of author that just kills off villains. If the plot calls for it, I will kill off a hero just as quick as I will a villain. Luckily, the plot hasn't called for any of that at this point in time. Will it? Could it? Possibly, especially in the darker side of the series. Casey Elkins gets pretty dark, and while again there have been murders in Casey Elkins, there hasn't been any significant characters murdered. But I'm working toward that with Casey Elkins because her series is darker, where Hometown Justice is the light, jokey side, the anime side of the Carolina Nexus. Casey Elkins is the dark, gritty, dog eat dog world of the Carolina Nexus. That is a very great question. Thank you, Miss Blue. But Vinny, Amber, you guys have just tuned in and you didn't see this earlier. Amber saw it last night, I think, if she was watching when I put this on the screen. This is the new cover for Hometown Justice Homecoming. Scott Larson designed this. If you're familiar with the Pokeville area, the building in the background looks sort of like the old Pokeville school that was tore down early 2000s. He put the Marine on the front cover. It's a silhouette because I never explicitly gave him what Alex Roller looked like. But there's that. And then the map of North Carolina with the star. That star is not Raleigh. That star is actually where Pokeville is on the map. Scott did an amazing job on this. I'm excited to have been able to upload this to Kindle. Not to Kindle, but to Yeah, to Kindle Direct Publishing for them to add it to the books going forward. I'm very excited about this. I love this artwork, and I've commissioned Scott to do the other books the same way. Hey, Alana. Let's see. I think, let me look. I had an artist, a friend of mine who's an artist, and he read the character descriptions of the three main characters, Tyson, Alex, and Ken, and he drew them inspired by anime. I want to share it with you guys if I can find it. Let's see. Let me check Facebook real quick. Photos. I'm pretty sure I have it on here. Give me just a second. I do. Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm going to share all of these with you guys. Give me just a minute. Now, before I share these photos, IMR in the building, Jace. I'm sorry, that's not IMR. That is El Luchador, the wrestler. How you doing, buddy? I'm sorry I missed your phone call earlier. I was at work. I will call you after the show, though. Let's go back to Facebook. Hold on. Chuck, if you're still watching, check inbox. I got an idea. Now, before I share the pictures, let me preface this by saying these are not official artwork. They're fan art. It made me happy to get this fan art. I don't understand why the character of Ken is so much older than the other two, but it works. So let me get these uploaded so I can pull them onto the screen, and I'll show you guys fan art of the Golden Trio of my book series. Okay, we're going to start with Alex Ruler. He's the de facto main character. This is the artwork for Alex Ruler. They made him younger than he is in the beginning, so this is Gapagon era Alex Ruler. Then we got Tyson Kwando. They made him younger. So this is Tagapagon era Tyson Kwando. I love the dragon imagery in the background. And then this is Ken Manson. I don't know why they drew him so much older, but this has got to be like future Hometown Justice Ken Manson. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring on one of my special guests right here, right now.
I know that I am talking to you from a dark car, but I just have to say Tyson Kendo.
Kwando. Yes.
Tyson Kwando.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, do they call him Taekwondo?
That is his nickname. His nickname is Ty, and his entire family is the males of the family are named after martial arts.
Okay. I love it.
Amber
How you
said
been?
our son. I've been all right. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Amber said your son what?
She said he's screaming at the picture of Ty when I put it on the screen. Baby Ty screaming at the picture of Ty. That's where we got the name Tyson from.
You're right.
Miss Baloo says she loves the artwork. How's Miss Laura doing?
Miss Laura's doing good. She's about to go crazy because I'm just all discombobulated about the whole Super Bowl halftime thing and the language that was used there, and a couple of the songs. It was not fit for primetime TV.
Right. Well, so that's why I volunteered to work Super Bowl Sunday, so I'd have to deal with it.
Yeah.
My teams wasn't playing, so I didn't want to watch it.
Well, look, and going back in my time in broadcasting, I used to work in Charlotte, North Carolina at Magic 96 back in the day when it was good time oldies. I was there for the middle of the damn night show. Me and Dale Richards did our thing there. And, there was a time and a place for everything. But I can't even say the words here because they'll shut you down because of the things that were said. But I'm gonna send you some of the lyrics, and you tell me if it was worthy of primetime television.
All right, I can do that. Chuck, Amber says hello. How you doing?
Hey, Amber.
She's watching from the living room TV with the baby. I just been on here talking for the last hour and tried to get Jack Morgan to come on in, but I guess he flew the coop. So I
Had
figured
to go
since you
get his
were
worm.
active,
He
yeah,
had to get his
exactly.
worm.
It makes the most sense. So you door dashing right now, or are you on your way home from another job? And I lost him. Okay, he must have hit a black spot, lost signal. I don't know, or he got a phone call coming in. That was my friend Chuck. I credit him with a lot of ideas I put into the series because he's one of the few people I can bounce ideas off of without judgment. I have a very close knit friend group, and Chuck, IMR, El Luchador, whichever name you want to call him on whatever day of the week it is one of those very close friends that I can freely bounce ideas off of. As we discussed with Scott Larson, he's the one that gave me the idea for an audiobook with Amber reading it. Yes, Amber, Chuck went bye-bye. That's an astute observation from you. Thanks for paying attention. But Chuck gave me the idea. He is an awesome dude. I will not fault you there. He gave me the idea for the audiobook. We're still looking into it. Probably going to be later this summer before we get one done, but it's a work in progress because, again, like Scott says, Chuck spends a majority of his time door dashing or spark driving or Uber Eats or whatever it is he door dashes or delivers foods for, and he can't pick up the books. So with the audiobook, he could Bluetooth to his radio, listen to it, and only be interrupted by his Jeepus occasionally. Wow, yeah, that he so Chuck just sent me the lyrics, and that is not fit for primetime television. And there's people out there thinking Tom and Jerry's bad for primetime television or The Simpsons, but got stuff like that going on. Yeah, we don't need that. Where's Greg Roper when I need him? He'd be the one to just hashtag I'm gonna say it. Well, Amber, Chuck gave us the idea for you to do that, to do an audiobook. It was all this man's idea. He gave me the idea, and I've been looking into it for us. Chuck, again, I credit you with the idea of the audiobooks. So that was an idea you gave me. Welcome back.
Oh, you talking to me? Oh, okay. I'm here. I'm here. I'm in the dark, and so I don't know what's up and I don't know what's down.
I got you.
Yes.
But yeah, I was just telling the people watching that you gave me the idea many moons ago about doing an audiobook because it'd be easier for you as a dasher gig driver to listen to the
Hey,
books instead of
yes.
pick them up read them. And
Well,
I've been looking into it, and it's probably going to be middle of the summer before I get one recorded, but I have been looking into it.
the idea, and you went farther than I was suggesting because I had when I was working at Gaston College and I was doing the show that I did, Rock 101, the history of rock and roll. There was a PSA that was played there, and it was about literacy and how reading, it's good to read, and they gave you a section of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, I think it was. But anyway, you're reading it, you're hearing this kid read it as if he's Percy Jackson, and it's through Percy's eyes. I always thought that commercial was really cool, and I always
Yeah,
wanted that. You do
you had
that.
shared that with me not last summer, summer before last, and
Yes.
I'd been looking into doing that as well, but then um I forget how we got on the subject one time. We was talking about something with DCW and you mentioned the audiobooks and I sort
Okay.
of rolled with it. Amber happened to be we were on video chat and Amber didn't realize we were on video chat. She was reading out loud to the kids my book and you said you should make her an audiobook. I can listen to it while I'm going down the road doing my gig
Okay.
driving. And that was the idea. So I've been looking into it. Um, she's a little bit nervous about using it, but I told her, you don't have to show her face on screen. We just got to record her voice. Do sort of like what you're doing now. Just have a picture
Yeah.
and then let her record it. And so it'll probably be middle of the summer this year before we get one done, but we're looking into doing that. And Caitlin said once we start with the Casey Elkins series, she wants to be the one to read that one. So we're gonna look into that. And it's all because you put the idea in my head and I
Okay.
ran with it.
Okay. Yeah. And the beauty about it is, you can like, once you find a place quiet, just turn your phone on and just record your voice reading the book, and that's it.
Right.
So
Again, I swear
anyway, sir, I don't want to, I don't, I'm sure your audience don't want to hear me breathing hard over here, but I'm fat and I have no choice. So anyway, I'm going to jump off here, and
okay.
I'm going to keep on listening to you, and I'll talk to you soon. Call me
Yes,
when you get
sir.
off.
I definitely will. One more thing before you go. I do want to have you
Yes.
come on and do like Scott did yesterday and interview me whenever you get a
Interview
free
you.
time. Yeah, you come on and interview me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. I'll
All
come up.
right.
I'll get some questions together. Sure.
I appreciate it. You take it easy there,
All right,
Chuck.
man. All right. Bye.
Bye. Exactly. Audiobooks be nice for delivery drivers, be wonderful for the sight impaired. It'd be wonderful for busy parents who have the little ones at home and they can just put on their earpiece like I have in my ear right now, turn the book on their phone and do their chores around the house and listen to the books hands free. All right, Chuck, I know you're still listening. So when we do the interview where you're going to interview me, we're charging $5.99 a view. Sound like a plan? Because Amber says she'd pay to see it. So we're gonna charge for that interview. Yes, Miss Blue had a major point. And also be for like because I ordered a special edition of the first Hometown Justice book for my dad. He's vision impaired. He needs large print books, and I ordered a special edition for him, and they charge me the author. Now, my contract says I pay author prices, which is just printing, the cost of printing. But for this large print book, I ended up paying almost $20 for a $5 book at the time. And that's insane in my opinion. My dad would love to be able to just plug into something, put his headsets on, and listen to the book because he ain't got to read, strain his eyes. Um, Now, my parents and I have a very strange relationship. They support me in my decisions. They want me to be the best version of myself that I can be. My decisions don't always, but they support me. I think I've never seen my mom or my dad, either one, so enthused, so enthralled in a book. Like every time after Hometown Justice Homecoming released, you walk in their house, they're both nose deep in the book reading, and it was amazing for me because again, after my sister and I got into our teenage years, we see our parents reading very much. Mom would go buy books at yard sales and saw her read after I was old enough to read myself. And same thing with dad. The only thing I ever saw my dad read was newspaper. So then for me to release the first book and walk into their house and see them reading my book that I worked hard on and then give me constructive criticism, which is something I'm not used to from my parents, but constructive criticism on things that happened in the book, that was probably the highlight of this whole experience. It brought us closer together, I guess you could say, because they felt like they in me achieving this dream. It wasn't like when I walked across the stage graduating high school. They had a hand in that. That they literally had a hand in that. They made me go to school on the days I didn't want to go to school. They made sure that my grades stayed up. But with this book, they felt like they had a major hand in it because they introduced me to the love of reading. They gave me that passion. Now, they did say that with my handwriting the way it was, I'd never be able to publish a book because my handwriting is legit chicken scratch. Professional linguistics, um, handwriting, calligraphy. That's the word. Professional calligraphy experts could not read my handwriting. I can't read my handwriting. So that was kind of a dampener, but then technology. I didn't have access to red tape or to ink tape and typewriters. Technology happened. I got my first computer. I started writing on it. And here we are today. Six physical books, one digital book. I never thought that I'd release that many. But here we are, and I got more planned coming down. And like I said, my parents are supportive of this. It's one of the few decisions I've made since I graduated high school that they're 110% behind me on. And again, I guess it's because they feel like they had a hand in it. And for me, as their son, for me to see them reading my stuff without me asking, I'd have to beg them to read my books because again, it's not something I usually see them reading. My mom's into the romance stories, and my dad is always reading the newspaper. I didn't write a newspaper, and I didn't write a romance story. It has evolved into one. So I've gotten some questions about it. Yes, Amber, the forum is still open. It's going to be open to when I decide to go off. That's when it'll close. questions in here, I'll answer them if I can legally answer them. If I can't legally answer your question, I won't bring your question screen, but I will tell I can or cannot answer it. I do have a lot of emails, text messages, comments, Facebook messages asking about the contest I was running last month. No one entered the contest, so no one. I even reduced the price of entry and increased the number of entries you could have. Still nobody entered. So we'll try that again in the future. Yeah, I know. My parents were the same way, Miss Baloo, but you could tell when they weren't. It wasn't even that they told me. I'd much rather them come forward and tell me, but they didn't always come forward to me. I was um it was their language. Amber, I don't know who Sensei Kyondo is. I think you meant Sensei Kwando, but there's plans in place for a Sensei Kwando origin. You're going to get a glimpse of that in the second Taigapagon book, which is going to be two of the Taigapagon prequel, threequel. Um, it's going to be called Taming the Dragon because the first one was Enter the Tiger. The second one's going to be Taming the Dragon, and you're going to get a view of Tai's family in Okinawa, and you're going to get more backstory on the Kwando family and what they had going on, what caused Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando to leave Okinawa. That's coming down the pipeline very, very soon. I'm excited about that. Very good question, Amber. Thank you for posting it. I figured that's what you meant. That's the reason I had to joke at you and then answer your question. Don't feel bad. Typos happen a lot. That's the reason we have spell check. And I have a wife that goes behind me and makes sure all of my typos and stuff like that are found before I post it. But she don't always get all of them. The editors always get all of them. It's okay. We're all human. Whoa, that's glitchy as hell. Nope, we just won't do that. Thank you, Miss Blue, for that word of encouragement. Again, I didn't think I'd make it as far as I have now, to be honest with you, but here I am. I have to thank my parents, my wife, and some very important teachers along the way, like Gwen Cash and Kathy Beam, Lisa Pennington from Blacksburg High School, because if she hadn't have taught me how to type as fast as I type, I wouldn't be able to get these books done. So a lot of people to thank. Toby Elliott, he encouraged me to do my best in everything I do. And while I didn't excel at sports, creativity is something I excel at. This is another great question from my wife. She says, I know a good one. The word rye really threw me off my first time reading it. You're reading your books. Can you tell us a proper pronunciation and explain what it is? Okay, so this is we're going to see the anime inspiration. Rai, RIE, is a dormant energy that all beings on the face of the planet can control with proper training in my universe. It's pronounced Rai because it's a shortened version of Reiki, which is spirit energy. So I went with just Rai to represent energy in my storyline. Rai is the life force. It is sort of similar to chakra in Naruto, ki in Dragon Ball, or Reiki, spirit energy in Yu Yu Hakusho. Each person has a set amount given to them at birth. They're never able to access it without proper training. Once you're able to access it with proper training, you can increase the amount you can generate. You can increase the amount that you control and manipulate. It is essentially a magic system, for lack of a better word, because that's what it's called in literary terms, a magic system to elevate the fantasy elements of my story. But that is a very good question, and it's pronounced Rye, not Ray or Rye. It's Rye. The verbal pronunciation of it would be RAI, like the beginning of Raichu, Rye. I don't know why I didn't think of that Raichu thing when I was explaining to you how to pronounce it, Amber, when you were mispronouncing it all those times you were reading it. So there you go. The first three letters of Raichu are how you pronounce the word Rye in my story. See if I can fix this for you. Bingo. There you go. Does that help, Amber? Does that help all of my readers? REI is equal to RAI. Pronunciation wise, it's Rye. You could call it a homage to Pokemon because Raichu used to only say Raichu. There you go. That's how I'm going to justify it. That'll be the only thing you remember from this show, Amber.
Platform that you. I am so mad.
guys. I'm responding to my editor. I know I'm right, Amber. It's going to be the only thing you remember from this episode. All right, guys. I think the show was never meant to be this long, but here we are. I think we covered a lot of good topics. I will see you guys in the morning, 10 a.m., for the regularly scheduled Carolina Nexus podcast. Tomorrow we will discuss. Let me find out which character we're discussing, so I can have you guys prepare questions about this character. Give me 1 minute, get everything ready. Scott, no worries. I figured you were busy doing something completely different. You don't have to explain anything to me, but I appreciate you popping in here and telling me what's going on. I had Chuck on the show, and we talked a little bit. We got some ideas going on. I'm getting ready to come tonight. I'm going to do the spin the wheel to find out what character we're going to talk about in the morning. Give me just a second. Let's see. Got to edit the wheel because I don't want to talk about these minor characters. Okay. The wheel has been edited. You guys ready for this spin the wheel? Amber, I've thought about doing that, but I don't want to spend too much time focusing on minor characters, if you know what I'm saying. Because if they're minor characters, I don't have a whole lot of backstory for them. All right, let me spin this real quick. Are we ready? We're going to spin the wheel. See what character we're talking about next show. The wheel has been edited. It's got all the major characters. There may be side characters. And we're looking there. We're talking about Vince Roman. So that'll be one character we talk about next show. Give me just a second to find his name. We're going to remove him live. Now, let's spin it again for the second character. And Luke Mitchell. Right on. I love these characters that we're going to be talking about. So Vince Raymond, Luke Mitchell, that'll be who we talk about next show. Those are some of the major characters that are going to carry this first trilogy forward. Vince Raymond gets a redemption arc at some point, but first you're going to see just how evil Vince Raymond can be. Luke Mitchell starts out as a tweener and eventually becomes a good guy. I love these two characters. I will be able to talk about them in more detail tomorrow morning. Thank you guys for tuning in. One more time, check it out. W.GG coupon code Caro Nexus for 10% off your discount at the checkout. Yeah, go ahead and start preparing them now, Amber, because I want you to bring questions. I want everybody that's watching, if you're tuning in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., bring questions. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Carolina Nexus